Second 10.
Yes.
Yes, correct. Rolling away. Burrow gets swung out of bounds.
Aaron Donald's getting bounced around everywhere that he goes, and I'm sure the frustration is building. He just wants to go make a difference in this game. Comes over. It's like a clean hit to me, and then some of the action started from there.
Hopkins, the center, is right there. Burrow under pressure. They get him at the 20-yard line. Heat was on, and Donald is right there.
Now they're going to bring somebody over the center so the center can't turn and help Adeniji. And when that happens, this was what everybody was anticipating happening. They just have not created enough one-on-ones. Yeah, the line I keep getting is you guys finally have a cool Joe on your team.
Yeah, right.
Took quite the beat down. And who they brought across the middle of the field with that big body, throw it high, let him go get a rebound.
Instead on the ground and close. Perine, does he get the first down? Down judge comes in, says Cincinnati's going to take a timeout because he doesn't.
Aaron Donald, as he's done so many times, we think about him as the pass rusher. Look at that hand extended, just jamming him up, and then not letting Perine fall forward for that first down.
And that's why people say he's the best player in the league. Burrow trying to keep it going, gets spun down, gets it away, and incomplete. It looked like Perine might have had a shot to make the grab, but the Rams now running down to celebrate with a defensive play.
And guess who?
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Zabelon Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah. We are live, man. Y'all, today we got some breaking news. Aaron Donald, one of the greatest defensive players in NFL history, arguably the greatest defensive player of this generation, has announced his retirement. And y'all, we knew this day was coming eventually, but this is definitely a surprise to us that it came on today because many of us thought that Aaron Donald had another year or two left in him. The highlights y'all just saw, that was Aaron Donald, him in the Super Bowl. He had 2 sacks in that game. Obviously had the game-winning play at the end of the game. I mean, you're talking about, dude, literally one of the greatest defensive players in NFL history. So, y'all, I want to get into his career accolades. I want to talk about what this means for the Rams moving forward. I also want to talk about some potential guys the Rams could target in the draft for as Aaron Donald's replacement, And then at the end, I want to give y'all my top 5 defensive players in NFL history. But yeah, y'all, I mean, wow, it's crazy because, like I said, many of us thought Aaron Donald had another year or two left. And but at the end of the day, I mean, this man has accomplished so much in his NFL career. So I don't blame him for deciding to hang it up. You know, he has nothing left to prove. I mean, he's done everything you could do as a defensive player. I mean, he's changed the way teams view, a defensive tackle. Back in the day, y'all, really outside of John Randall, teams view defensive tackles as just being, run stopping guys, being nose tackles. But you got a guy like Aaron Donald who it shows you that you can be a great interior rusher. You can be a great interior rusher from the defensive tackle position. So congratulations to Aaron Donald's career he's had. But yeah, y'all, let's get into Aaron Donald's resume. So a 10-time Pro Bowl. He made a Pro Bowl in all his 10 seasons. Do you know how hard this is to do, y'all? Think about it. Aaron Donald and all his 10 years made the Pro Bowl. So this means when this man stepped foot in the NFL, he was already one of the better players in the league. That's incredible, y'all. And that shows you that he was ready to go from day one. That shows you the consistency that he's had. Even this past season, y'all, his last year in the NFL, he still was a Pro Bowl. He still was an All-Pro. He still had a good year this year. He had 8 sacks, 16 tackles for loss. So he still was dominant. 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He won that award in 2017, 2018, and 2020. I mean, this is insane, y'all. I mean, you don't see a defensive tackle winning Defensive Player of the Year. He was an 8-time first-team All-Pro, 2015 to 2021, and then this past season, he was named to the NFL 2000s All-Decade team. Incredible. He had 6 seasons, y'all. This is really what's insane. He had 6 seasons with 10 or more sacks, including in 2018, he had 20.5 sacks. Let me repeat. Aaron Donald, a defensive tackle, had 20.5 sacks. Yeah, that's incredible, y'all. I mean, that is incredible. A defensive tackle, 20.5 sacks. He had 111 career sacks, second most for a DT behind the great John Randall, NFL Hall of Famer. He had 137 sacks. Super Bowl champion. He won that in 2022. He had 2 sacks in that game. Y'all just saw the highlights. And he had the game-winning play. And then, y'all, in my opinion, Aaron Donald is the greatest DT in NFL history. With all due respect to John Randall, I think Aaron Donald, y'all, just a little bit better than John Randall. But you're talking about a guy that Aaron Donald, y'all, is about 6'1", 280 pounds, which for most people, that sounds like a big guy. But for an NFL defensive tackle, that's pretty small, y'all. Let's be honest. 6'1", 280 pounds is pretty small for a DT. And this man changed the way NFL GMs, NFL franchises view defensive tackles now. Because now you want at least one of your DTs to be a great pass rush guy. It used to be back in the day, y'all, your DTs, they were run stuffers. That's it. But now you want at least one of your DTs to be able to get out the quarterback. And that's what Aaron Donald did for 10 seasons, man. And some people argue he's the greatest defensive player in NFL history. And you wouldn't get any pushback from me on that. Because you have a point. I mean, the resume speaks for itself. It really does. I mean, y'all, this is, to me, in my opinion, this is one of the most dominant careers we've ever seen in NFL history. Because you really don't find a guy that from the moment he stepped foot in the NFL, he was already one of the best players in the league. And then the day he retires, he's still one of the best players in the league. I mean, seriously, y'all. Earlier this morning, Aaron Donald was still one of the best players in the league before he announced his retirement. And he's almost 33 years old and still one of the best players in the league. So what does that tell you? He's very, very, very consistent. Some guys, you know, their glory days are when they're younger. But for Aaron Donald, he continued to play at an extremely high level, even as he's a guy into his 30s now. So you're talking about, y'all, a guy that's changed the way teams view his position and dominated his position. I mean, think about it. How many players can you say changed their position and then dominated their position? Aaron Donald changed the defensive tackle spot. Aaron Donald is first ballot Hall of Fame, so he'll be giving a speech in 5 years in Canada without question. Yeah, Aaron Donald, first ballot Hall of Fame. Let me repeat, he's a first ballot Hall of Fame. No question. Okay, no question about that. And if he doesn't get in first ballot, I don't know what the heck is going on in Canton, Ohio. Okay, let's just be honest, y'all. Because Aaron Donald should not have to wait a year or 2 years. Now, I know obviously a year or 2 years is not long, but Aaron Donald has been this good, been this dominant. This man should not have to wait at all. First ballot Hall of Famer. Wow. I mean, what more can you say about this man? Other than he's one of the greatest players that we've ever seen play. He is. And notice I didn't say one of the greatest defensive players, one of the greatest DTs. No, y'all. Aaron Donald's one of the greatest. He's one of the greatest players in NFL history. He is. So kudos to Aaron Donald, y'all. Let's give it up for Aaron Donald on an amazing career. I hope he has continued success and probably a broadcaster career. I feel like Aaron Donald's going to be a broadcaster. I really do, y'all. I don't know that, for a fact, but I really feel like Aaron Donald's going to be a broadcaster. Whatever he chooses to do, I know he will have success in doing that. So, y'all, let's get into what this means for the Rams. So, the Rams knew this day was coming eventually, and they prepared for this by drafting Kobe Turner and Byron Young last year. And you got to give it up to Les Snead, y'all. Let's clap for Les Snead, the Rams GM. Okay, because he knew that in 2 or 3 years, Aaron Donald was going to be retiring. So he decided, you know what? I need to draft Kobe Turner and Byron Young. And boy, look at the seasons, y'all, that Kobe Turner and Byron Young had. I mean, some people felt like Kobe Turner should have been the defensive rookie of the year over Will Anderson Jr. because, man, Kobe Turner had an incredible season, y'all. 9 sacks, 45 tackles. And mind you, this dude was a 3rd-round pick last year and had 9 sacks and 45 tackles. When you look at Kobe Turner, him and Aaron Donald are kind of similar in size, right? They're both undersized defensive tackles. Aaron Donald 6'1", 280. Kobe Turner 6'2", 288. But they both can get after the quarterback. They're not just run stopping DTs, y'all. They have really good pass rush moves. So, and I'm not saying Kobe Turner, obviously. I'm not saying he's going to be what Aaron Donald was. Okay? But they are getting 2 young players that they can build around on defense for years to come. You looking at Byron Young, and I know Byron Young, he's old, right? Because he's already 26 and he's just getting ready into his 2nd year. So he's an older player. But that's okay. Because he played well. At the end of the day, you just want players that play well. He played extremely well. He had 8 sacks and 61 tackles and 2 forced fumbles in his rookie season. So you're talking about on defense, y'all. The Rams already have 2 players that can be cornerstone players for them on that side of the ball. And one of those guys happens to play the same position Aaron Donald played, defensive tackle. And so for the Rams, you got your 2 young guys, right? At very important position. When you build a defense, y'all, you build what? Inside out. When you're building a team, you build inside out. When you're building a defense, you build inside out. So you start with the D-line, the edge rushers, then you work your way to the linebacker group, then you go up to the secondary. And when you look at the Rams right now, they've done the right way. You got your DT, you got your edge rusher. Now the Rams do need to go get a corner. I like their linebacker, Ernest Jones. They did sign Cameron Curl on last night, so I like that. That adds a piece for them in that secondary. They do need a corner, though. Right? The Rams do need a corner. But they got 2 good players that they can build around for years to come in Byron Young and Kobe Turner at 2 important positions, right? DT and edge rusher. So I like where the Rams are going. You know, this team, they still have some veterans, obviously, right? Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford. Now, eventually, y'all, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with them. But I think for this coming up season, the Rams should probably be a playoff team again. Because this roster is definitely stronger than what it was last year. Right? I mean, they added Jonah Jackson to that offensive line. Then they added Cameron Curl to that secondary. They're already better than what they were last year. So, you talking about a 2nd year for Puka Nacua, wide receiver, Kobe Turner, defensive tackle, Byron Young, edge rusher. I mean, those guys are going to continue to progress. So I like what the Rams are. Like I said, they should probably be a playoff team this year. You know, if everything goes to plan, everyone stays healthy and all that good stuff. But it should be a playoff team. Again, they will at some point have to figure out what they're going to do with Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. But other than that, y'all, this is a young team, though. Like, the Rams are a young team, and they have set themselves up pretty nicely for the future because they got a lot of players they can build around. Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Puka Nacua, Cameron Curl, Ernest Jones, right? Jonah Jackson, Kevin Dotson. They got a lot of young players they can build around, right? Steve Avila, who's their 2nd-round pick from last year. So I like what the Rams, Kyron Williams, their running back. A lot of young talent on this roster. Again, one last time, they need to figure out what they're going to do with Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. But for this coming up season, the Rams are in a good place. All right, y'all. So let's get into some players that the Rams could target in the draft. And I gave you 3 defensive tackles because they probably will draft DT at some point, whether it's in the first, second, third round, they probably will address the DT spot. So first up, y'all, we have T'Vondre Sweat, DT out of Texas. Now, T'Vondre Sweat, y'all heard me earlier say, now the NFL wants at least one of their DTs to be able to rush the passer. Well, for the Rams, this is perfect because you already got one guy in Kobe Turner that can do that. But if they were to draft T'Vondre Sweat, y'all, he would give them that big run-stopping DT that they need. And I just think it would be a match made in heaven. T'Vondre Sweat, he's similar to Jordan Davis, right? Neither one of them can really rush the passer. Even though I think Jordan Davis, well, I think he was further along in his progression at this point than T'Vondre Sweat is in terms of, rushing the passer. But as a run stopper, y'all, clogging up the middle, T'Vondre Sweat would be amazing for the Rams. He's 6'4", 360 pounds, right? Compared to Kobe Turner, who's only 6'2", 288 pounds. So I think if you have Kobe Turner and then T'Vondre Sweat next to each other, great. Because those dudes are versatile and they both bring something different to the table. I always said, y'all, when you're building a team, whether it be an NBA team or NFL team, you don't want to have guys that have overlapping skill sets, right? You want to have some versatility between your players. And so you got T'Vondre Sweat, you got Kobe Turner, one guy that's your run stopper, one guy that's your pass rusher, boom, you're set for the next, 5 to 8 years. Next up, y'all, we have Byron Murphy, also defensive tackle out of Texas, teammate, or now I should say, I guess, former teammate of T'Vondre Sweat. And we saw what Byron Murphy did at the combine. Man, he had an incredible performance. He showed a lot of athleticism, y'all, a lot of athleticism. And he's kind of similar. It's funny because he's kind of similar to Aaron Donald. He's a little bit bigger than Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is 280. Byron Murphy's about 308 pounds. But he's only 6'1". So he's not the biggest guy in terms of height. Right? But Byron Murphy, unlike T'Vondre Sweat, Byron Murphy can rush the passer a little bit. Now, is he an Aaron Donald in terms of getting after the quarterback? No. But he definitely has some pass rush moves that I think teams are going to be like, let's see if we can develop. I mean, y'all, he had 5 sacks this year. That's not bad for a DT at all. You'll take that. So I definitely think he could be somebody the Rams could target. Again, him and T'Vondre Sweat are different. So for the Rams, it's going to depend on what kind of player do you want. Because some people would say that Byron Murphy and Kobe Turner are kind of similar to one another. But I think Kobe Turner is definitely more athletic and more explosive than Byron Murphy is. Even though Byron Murphy looked pretty darn athletic during the combine. But I think Kobe Turner is more athletic, more explosive. But both of those guys are amazing. And I think they would complement each other well. And Byron Murphy is a little bit bigger than Kobe Turner. So you still could get a run-stopping defensive tackle, but instead of T'Vondre Sweat, who's just a run-stopper, you would be getting a DT and Byron Murphy that can rush the passer a little bit and has some traits that you can work with. And then finally, y'all, we have probably my favorite player on this list. Okay, a guy that I think could potentially go maybe top 15 to 20. So he's probably going to be there for the Rams to take. And that is Jer'Zhan Newton, defensive tackle out of Illinois. Man, y'all, really, 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 really like Jer'Zhan Newton. I mean, I really do. I think this dude is going to be a Pro Bowler. I do. I think Jer'Zhan Newton is going to be a Pro Bowler at the next level. You're talking about a guy. He's kind of a combination of T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy in the sense that he gives you the run-stopping ability that T'Vondre Sweat does, but I think he does a little bit better, honestly. And he gives you the pass rushing ability that Byron Murphy has, but I think he does that a little bit better. I think he's a better pass rusher than Byron Murphy. I mean, you're talking about a guy, y'all, 2 seasons, right? 2022, 5.5 sacks for Jer'Zhan Newton. And then this past season, he had 7.5 sacks for a defensive tackle. He's 6'2", 295. So him and Kobe Turner, again, kind of similar in size. But if you want a guy that can do both, and I think could end up doing both at a high level, Jer'Zhan Nu's your guy. Because I don't know if Byron Murphy is ever going to be an elite pass rusher for a DT. I think Jer'Zhan Nu is going to be an elite pass rusher. He's already good. I think he's really good right now, y'all. I really do. I think Jer'Zhan Nu is a really good pass rusher right now. He has a chance to be an elite pass rusher. So if you want the best of both worlds that can get done at an elite level, Jer'Zhan Nu is your guy. All right, so let's recap, y'all. If you want a guy that's a run stopper, go to Andre Swift. If you want a guy that can do both at a good level, go with Byron Murphy. If you want a guy, though, that can end up being an elite run stopper and an elite pass rusher, then Jer'Zhan Nu is your guy. So these are three players I think the Rams could target in the draft. In terms of defensive tackles, now obviously the Rams have other needs, right? At corner, some people even say wide receiver, even though, now they got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and DeMarcus Robinson. But some people say the Rams need a wide receiver for when Cooper Kupp either gets traded one day or, he retires or release, whatever's going to happen with him. Because there's a strong chance Cooper Kupp could get traded. I still think he could get traded this offseason, if not next offseason. So they could go receiver. But again, y'all, these are players they should target in draft that play the defensive tackle position. All right, y'all. So last but not least, the reason that some of y'all probably came here is so y'all could hear who my top 5 players in NFL history are. So y'all, let's go ahead and get into it. So Zay's top 5 defensive players in NFL history. So number 1, y'all, I got LT, the original LT, Lawrence Taylor. Okay. LT changed the way the game is played from the linebacker position. Because, y'all, this man put fear. He put fear in offensive tackles' minds. These dudes were scared of him, y'all. They were scared of LT. I've never seen a dude, y'all, at his size be so fast and athletic. I mean, it wasn't fair. It was not fair what LT did. You're talking about a guy, y'all, as a defensive player. As a defensive player, won MVP. Think about it. As a defensive player, he changed the way the game was played. He did. Similar to Aaron Donald, LT changed the way the game is played. Okay? When teams went against LT, they had to change their whole game plan. Because we had never seen a dude like that before play. Never seen nothing like that. A dude that was that fast, that quick. And also, y'all, don't get it twisted now. LT could get them interceptions. Now, he had 9 career interceptions. 2 of them returned for a touchdown. So he wasn't just a pass rush specialist. He could get them picks. He can drop back into coverage. He also had 56 forced fumbles for his career. So I think Lawrence Taylor is the greatest defensive player in NFL history. Next up, y'all, we have Deion Primetime Sanders, the greatest cornerback, in my opinion, in NFL history. He, like Aaron Donald and Lawrence Taylor, changed the way the game is played from the CB position. Because Deion, y'all, he shut down an entire half of the field. Think about that. He shut down an entire half of the field. When Deion Sanders was on the field, you looked the other way. Okay, you looked the other way. You looked the other way, y'all, because you knew. If you threw it over there, you knew what was going to happen. Deion was going to pick that thing off. He was going to high step it and take it to the end zone, right? He had his bandana on, all that stuff. He was going to be swagged out, and he was going to intercept you, and he was going to let you know about it. All right, come on. That's what it is, y'all. And Deion, I've never seen a cornerback do this as well as he did it, y'all. Deion was able to bait quarterback, into throwing his way. Because what Deion would do, and because he was so athletic and so fast, he's the only corner I've been able to see that I've watched that has been able to do it this well. What he would do is, y'all, he would bait these quarterbacks. So he would make it look like he wasn't really guarding his man. And then, boom, out of nowhere, Deion would come through, pick that thing off. He would pick it off, y'all. And actually, we just got some breaking news as the Eagles are trading for a quarterback, Kenny Pickett, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, I don't like this move at all by the Steelers, y'all. I really, really, really don't. Because Russell Wilson ain't going to be the long-term guy. So I would have kept Kenny Pickett. I don't like what the Steelers are doing. Because to me, the Steelers, see, this is my problem with the Steelers. The Steelers think they have a team that can go to the Super Bowl, and they don't. Okay? They do not. So that's my problem. So they're rolling with Russ. Okay, I mean, have fun. Y'all probably gonna win 9-10 games, but the Steelers aren't a serious threat in the AFC. No one's worried about them. They're not even the best team in their division. Okay, you got the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals. And I would dare say right now the Browns is the best team in that division, right? Because the Ravens has lost a lot of free agents. The Bengals, we don't know what's going on with Joe Burrow, and then T. Higgins, right, requested a trade, so they might have to trade T. Higgins. And they lost a lot of pieces on defense. They lost DJ Reader and Chidobe Awuzie. So I think the Browns are the best team in that division. I don't know what the Steelers are doing, but yeah, y'all, breaking news. The Eagles are trading for a Steelers quarterback, Kenny Pickett. What in the world are the Steelers doing? I would have just continued to progress Kenny Pickett. And if you feel like you want a guy, draft a young quarterback. But no, instead you get an old quarterback like y'all are close to contending. You're not. But anyways, y'all, like I was saying, Deion, greatest cornerback in NFL history. He shut down the entire half of the field. Next up, y'all, my third greatest defensive player in NFL history. The man himself, the minister of defense, man. May he rest in peace, Reggie White. Y'all think Reggie White is probably the most consistent player in NFL history. I mean, outside of Tom Brady, really, really, really hard to find a guy that was as consistent and dominant as Reggie White was. Find me one, y'all. I mean, you're talking about at age 37, y'all. This man has 16 sacks and won Defensive Player of the Year at age 37. I mean, that's incredible. That is incredible. This man, y'all, had 10 consecutive seasons with 9 or more sacks. Think about that. Think about that. 10 consecutive seasons with 9 or more sacks. In all his seasons, he had at least, in all his seasons, y'all, he had at least 5 sacks. In the year he had 5 sacks happened to be his last year in the league. All the other years, he had at least 8. There has never been, y'all, a more consistent and dominant player than Reggie White. Seriously. Like I said, outside of Tom Brady, I can't find one. Because while you could say, and I would agree with this, but you could say Lawrence Taylor was the better player, and even that's, that's up for debate. But you could say that, and I would agree with that. But I don't think there's any debate as to who the most consistent and dominant player was. I think LT was better, but LT, his dominance did not last nearly as long as Reggie White's dominance lasted for. It's kind of like the LeBron and Michael Jordan debate. Michael Jordan, his best, was probably better than anyone a lot of people have ever seen. But there's been no player in NBA history, y'all, that's been as consistent and dominant as long as LeBron James has been consistent and dominant for. I mean, I think the same can be said for Reggie White. You can argue that Reggie White is the greatest defensive player ever. So I had a hard time making this top 5 list. But Reggie White is number 3. Like I said, to me, there has not been another player in NFL history that was as dominant and consistent as long as Reggie White was as dominant as consistent for. So Reggie White is number 3. Number 4, y'all, we got Mr. Ray Lewis. You know, man, one of the most passionate players in NFL history, maybe the most passionate player in NFL history. Remember when people said Ray Lewis was undersized for a linebacker? Remember they said, oh, he's too small, he's too short. But they didn't even realize this dude was super athletic. He was a great tackler. He was great in coverage, as evident by his 31 career interceptions. Think about this, y'all. Ray Lewis has 2,059 tackles. He has 41 and a half sacks, 31 picks, 19 forced fumbles, 19 fumble recoveries. That is elite, right? He was Defensive Player of the Year in 2000 and 2003. And the year he won Defensive Player of the Year in 2003, y'all, he had 6 interceptions and 14 passes broken up for a linebacker. That's not a corner or a safety getting 6 interceptions and 14 PBUs. That's a linebacker doing it, y'all. Ray Lewis, the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest linebacker in NFL history. You know, I think it's close between him and Mr. Dick Butkus, but Ray Lewis is the greatest linebacker in NFL history. Because we had never seen, and we still have never seen up at this point, we had never seen, y'all, a linebacker at Ray Lewis's size. Mind you, kind of like Aaron Donald, not the biggest dude. Okay, Ray Lewis was 6'1", 240. Most linebackers we seen up to that point, y'all, 6'3", 6'4", 260, 270, some even 280. But Ray Lewis brought a level of athleticism, coverage ability, and intensity that we have never seen from another linebacker. And really, we've never seen that from another player. The only other linebacker that you can kind of compare Ray Lewis to in terms of athleticism and coverage ability would be Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly is one of the greatest defensive players of this generation. But Ray Lewis, his intensity, y'all, like I said, he might be the most passionate player in NFL history. So Ray Lewis, number 4. And then right now, rounding out my top 5, y'all, the man himself, the newly retired man, Mr. Aaron Donald. Man, again, like I said earlier, he changed the way teams view the defensive tackle spot now. I think he's the greatest DT in NFL history. So because of that reason, Aaron Donald is in my top 5. I mean, 111 career sacks. I'm not going to go back and reread his accolades to y'all because y'all heard me say it. But this is my top 5. Before I get up out of here, I want to hear y'all opinion. Do y'all agree? You disagree? What's your top 5, right? Who's y'all top 5? Do you think LT is the greatest defensive player ever? I know some people think Reggie White. I know Stephen A. has gone on the record. Before I remember, this was like in 2019, he said that Deion Sanders was the greatest player in NFL history. Now, I can't go that far. Okay, I can't go that far. But, hey, Deion, I mean, you can really make a case for all these guys being the greatest defensive player in NFL history. That just goes to show you, I mean, the amount of talent that we've been able to see throughout these 100-plus years in the NFL. But this is my top 5. Once again, Lawrence Taylor, Deion Primetime Sanders, Reggie White, a.k.a. the Minister of Defense, Ray Lewis, and Mr. Aaron Donald. Let me hear y'all, man. Y'all agree? You disagree? Who's your top 5? Who's your greatest defensive player in NFL history? Is it a player that I didn't include in this? And trust me, y'all, it's so many. I mean, you got Rod Woodson, Ed Reed, Dick Butkus. I mean, Ronnie Lott. Like, it's so many, right? John Randall. So it is so many guys you can put in the top 5. But this is my top 5. And I felt that this was the right thing to do. I mean, Aaron Donald's retired. We've been arguing, if he's a top 5 player in NFL history. Well, now he's retired. So let's talk about it. And this is my top 5 players. But yeah, y'all, once again, Aaron Donald, one of the greatest defensive players, one of the greatest players in NFL history, has announced his retirement after 10 incredible seasons in the NFL. Let's clap it up again, y'all, for Aaron Donald. Wow, that is incredibly impressive. I enjoy Ray Lewis's Hall of Fame speech. Yeah. If y'all have not listened to Ray Lewis's Hall of Fame speech, please go listen to it. Also, these some other speeches. Listen to his speech. Listen to Ed Reed's speech. Listen to Deion Sanders' speech. Listen to Michael Irvin's speech. And listen to Shannon Sharp's speech. Those are 5. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin, Shannon Sharp. To me, y'all, those are the 5 greatest Hall of Fame speeches I've ever heard. Now, I'm not going to lie. Some of those, I'm not going to tell you which one, but some of those are very emotional. Okay, so, hey, might have to get your tissues ready. You feel me? Okay, but I think if y'all have not heard those Hall of Fame speeches, please go listen to them, man, because I'm telling you, it will really move your heart and it will really move your spirit. I have watched all of those. I've listened to them probably 5 times a piece. So please, y'all, go listen to those. Let me repeat: Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders, and Shannon Sharp. Go listen to those Hall of Fame speeches if y'all have not heard, man. Remember, y'all, laughter is good medicine, so make sure you get your daily dose. But before I get up out here, I want to say, and I said this earlier in my past live, but I'll go ahead and say it again for those that might not have been in that live. But on tomorrow, y'all, I will be doing my first WNBA mock draft. Yeah. And also, y'all, I will be doing my first women's college basketball scouting report. And the player we have tomorrow, man, as y'all know, probably my second favorite player. Actually, this ain't no problem. My second favorite player behind Juju Watkins in college basketball. I think y'all know her. We just watched her team play last week, right? Now, some people call her the Bayou Barbie. Some people call her Miss Reed. Some people just say Angel. Whatever you want to call her, man. We got the Bayou Barbie. I'm doing my scouting report / draft profile for Angel Reese, the Bayou Barbie. So, yeah, y'all, all of that's coming tomorrow. I'll let y'all know what time I'm going live. I'll put it in the community tab. But get ready for that. My first WA mock draft, and I got my Angel Reese scouting report / draft profile coming out. Also, for Sunday, y'all, I'm going to do my Titans mock draft. What is this, 4.0, I believe, and I'm going to do my NFL mock draft 3.0. And then, y'all, I'm also thinking about, okay, y'all might get 3 lives in one day, because I'm also thinking about doing my Cameron Brink, center from Stanford, man, one of the best centers in the nation. I'm also thinking about doing my Cameron Brink scouting report on Sunday as well. So give me a thumbs up, thumbs down if y'all want all that. Sunday, y'all can get a Cameron Brink scouting report. You get a Titans mock draft 4.0, and you get an NFL mock draft 3.0. Y'all, thumbs up, thumbs down. Y'all cool with that? If y'all cool with that, hey, we gonna do it. I know that's a lot in one day, but hey, let's do it, man. I want to, like I keep saying, y'all keep hearing me say the whole women's college basketball thing. Well, I want to really do it, right? Because now I want to do some scouting reports, just like I've done 9 NFL scouting reports. Well, I want to do some scouting reports for these women's college basketball players. I think it's only fair, right? If I'm gonna do the NFL players, the NFL prospects, I need to do the WNBA prospects as well. And like I said, y'all, also giving y'all on tomorrow my first WNBA mock draft. So I'm really looking forward to that. I know y'all seem to really enjoy the women's college basketball content. We're gonna get into that and some WNBA content, all that stuff, y'all, because I want y'all to see that your boy Zay is very versatile, and then I keep up with all things sports, man. Whether it's not just the NBA and NFL with me, I also watch women's college basketball in the WNBA. But yeah, y'all, remember, laughter is good medicine. So make sure you get your daily dose. You know I'm gonna end it, man. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.